There are many heroes who, before acting independently, were just sidekicks to other characters. In this video, you'll see which main heroes once lived in the shadows of the protagonists. Many of them were developed so well as main characters that they are now more beloved and famous than the originals. We'll explore this and much more in today's video. So don't forget to leave a like and subscribe so we can together pave the way for the biggest nerd channel on YouTube. Number 1. Dick Grayson. Dick Grayson was the first sidekick in comics, originally appearing as Robin. He was created to be a young partner to an adult superhero, Batman, so that younger audiences could relate to him. The creators aimed to add a lighter tone to Batman's stories, which are usually darker. Additionally, Robin provided Batman with someone to converse with during his missions, rather than just having his thoughts depicted in thought bubbles. Robin first appeared in 1940 in Detective Comics number 38, and was a huge success. His popularity led to other heroes having sidekicks as well. As he grew older and took on the leadership of the Teen Titans, Dick Grayson adopted the mantle of Nightwing to establish his independence from Batman. He was no longer just a sidekick, but a hero in his own right. Dick Grayson's debut as Nightwing was in 1984. Number 2. Jason Todd. Our next character on this list was also a sidekick to Batman. In 1987, in the modern era, following the Crisis on Infinite Earths, the young Jason Todd took on the mantle of Robin. Bruce Wayne found the boy trying to steal the wheels off the Batmobile, and seeing Jason's potential, he decided to train him. Bruce wanted to pull this orphaned and rebellious kid away from a life of crime and channel his anger into helping others, which he did. Jason became the second person to take up the mantle of Robin, and wore the same uniform that Dick Grayson had previously used. However, during the storyline A Death in the Family, the Joker killed the boy after beating him with a crowbar and blowing up the warehouse where he was held. 6 months after Jason's death, Superboy Prime punched through reality, which restored Jason Todd's life and allowed him to escape from his coffin. Despite being alive, he was very weak and was found by Talia al Ghul, who immersed him in the Lazarus Pit. After recovering, Jason Todd decided to turn against Batman, discovering that the Dark Knight had not avenged his death. Initially, Red Hood started as a villain. However, over time, he engaged in increasingly heroic actions and is now considered an anti-hero. Nowadays, he is practically a hero, though with more aggressive methods than usual. Number 3. Bucky Barnes. Our next character on this list is Bucky, who was the sidekick to Captain America since the very first appearance of Steve Rogers in Captain America Comics number 1. In this issue, we see the young and scrawny Steve Rogers being selected for the Super Soldier program and becoming a super strong man. Afterward, he decided to don a costume and became a superhero. One day, while changing clothes in a military tent, young James Barnes entered and discovered that Steve was Captain America. Swearing to keep the secret, the boy joined the hero and, after several months of training, received his own secret identity as Bucky. After serving alongside Captain America for a considerable time, Bucky was presumed dead in an accident where he was trapped in an exploding plane. In reality, he survived, suffering only a damaged left arm from the explosion. His body was thrown into the icy sea and ended up being frozen, just like Steve Rogers himself. However, Bucky's frozen body was discovered by the Soviet Army, who revived him and implanted a bionic arm. The major problem was that Bucky did not remember his life before the accident. He was then trained and brainwashed to become an assassin. He became the villain Winter Soldier and operated alongside the Soviet Army for a long time until Captain America discovered his identity and, using the Cosmic Cube, restored Bucky's memories. After reconciling for the wrongs he committed while under Soviet control, Bucky took on the mantle of Captain America following Steve Rogers' assassination as a result of the Civil War storyline. His first appearance as the Sentinel of Liberty was in Captain America number 34 in March 2008, and he carried on Steve Rogers' legacy for a long time. Number 4. Wally West. In the DC universe, there have been several speedsters over the years, but none have been as incredible as Barry Allen and Wally West. Barry is the most well-known. He appeared in 1956 and was the second character in the comics to take on the Flash identity. Wally West first appeared in comics in 1959. He was the nephew of Iris West, Barry's girlfriend. Wally was a huge fan of the speedster superhero, and to please him, Barry appeared to Wally and showed him how he gained his powers. By a twist of fate, while they were in the lab, a lightning bolt struck young Wally, and he fell into some chemicals, gaining the same powers as Barry Allen. Barry then made Wally his sidekick, naming him Kid Flash. In addition to helping Barry Allen fight crime, Wally also co-founded the Teen Titans with other heroes. After a few years, Barry Allen sacrificed himself during the events of Crisis of Infinite Earths in the battle against the Anti-Monitor. With the absence of a Flash in the world, Wally decided to take up the mantle to continue his friend's legacy and become an independent hero. From then on, he went on many adventures and proved to everyone that he was even faster than Barry Allen himself. Number 5. Roy Harper. Roy Harper was a boy who never knew his mother and lived with his father, who was a forest ranger. His father died in a fire while saving some natives. In gratitude, the tribe's shaman decided to raise the boy, who was only 2 years old at the time. As he grew up, the boy showed great skill with a bow and arrow, catching the shaman's attention. The shaman trained him until he became an exceptional archer. One day, he helped Green Arrow capture a criminal. Oliver Queen was impressed with Roy's skill and speed and decided to take him on as his protege, adopting him at the age of 13. Roy Harper was given his own uniform and became Green Arrow's sidekick, known as Speedy. The two worked together against crime for several years until Speedy became involved with drugs, which angered Oliver Queen and led to Roy being expelled from his home. To prove his strength and overcome his addiction, Roy continued to work as an independent hero. Sometime later, he refined his costume and equipment and chose a new identity, calling himself Arsenal. He remained Arsenal for a long time until he was invited to join the Justice League. During a mission with the Justice League, he was called Red Arrow by Hal Jordan. Roy was surprised but pleased by this new name and adopted it. At this time, he reconciled with Oliver Queen, ending their troubled relationship. Number 6. Aqualad. To wrap up our list, even Aquaman had a sidekick. The name Aqualad has been used by 2 characters, but in this video we'll focus on the original Aqualad, Garth. Garth was an orphan who, at birth, was left to die because he was considered genetically inferior to his race due to his purple eyes. However, the baby not only survived, but thrived, living alone at the bottom of the sea for 10 years. His powers were very similar to Arthur Curry's, the Aquaman. Garth and Arthur met when Aquaman saved Garth, and from then on, they became partners. Garth adopted the name Aqualad and was also one of the founders of the Teen Titans. After a long time as Aqualad, Garth was sent to another dimension where he was trained and discovered incredible abilities. He learned to control elements such as heating and cooling water, and to create purple energy explosions with his eyes. During his training, he acquired 2 scars on his right eye. When he returned to his original dimension, simply being near the ancient magical pool made him charged with pure energy. With this, he donned a new costume and changed his name to Tempest.